everybody coming out for this foolishness.
Now, you got to let me address that.
Go ahead.
Because I needed to get there in a timely manner, per my request, you know, because you got to go through Secret Service. Of course, I got there at 3-something, after 3, had to. In all truthfulness, it wasn't full because it was early.
Mm-hmm.
But when the rump's shaking, and the people that y'all didn't see, because the media don't cover it, there was a large percentage of people who would come and on the floor. And the floor was covered where you couldn't see the concrete. And here's what happened. When the stage took flight, when the performance took flight, the stadium was filled. I have to give them credit, people. Listen to capacity. It only seats 22,000. They had 30,000 inside. And because I'm out there running my mouth with other local politicians in Houston, there was 50,000+ left outside. Prior to that, there probably was 100,000+ in line. 1.5 million people registered.
Wow.
To attend this event. I don't care. We got a little ratchet part, but it became feel. Here's the thing, and I think it was Chris said it so eloquent, and Jashim, let's give him a hand clap, because this is one hell of a producer. This man is. Come on, what's wrong with y'all? We in the Trenches podcast, one of the fastest growing podcasts it is.
Okay.
Now, and listen, I'm not talking to all the former running up the district attorneys and those that are running in town. And I saw a lot of political people from Democrat to Republican, from independent, and I was shocked. Yeah, I was trying to hide.
Why were you trying to hide?
Because I didn't want to be associated with it, because that's not my cup of tea. But wait, I have to explain it like I told another friend of mine from the other side. It was like if any one of you invite me to a birthday party, I would come and celebrate my friend's birthday.
Okay.
All right. So to debunk one lady, Mr. Producer, I told you earlier this week to get her video ready. She made a statement, and I said, that is not true. You sent it to me. Okay, you sent it. You send me so much. I can't read it all because you send it all. And I'm old school. I go brain dead. But I try to keep you on your toes. Video, I said, Doc, you need to hold that and let me handle her. It was packed out. Beyonce never one time in any advertisement that I got and anything leading up to it was not marketed as she gonna be doing a concert. Get that in your head. There was other celebrities there beside her people. But because of our people are hungry and thirsty for that looks like and smell like a celebrity, we come out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes all we want is a good party and no information. We come there with an empty head and leave with an empty head. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows. Yeah. If you ask the average black person, if I had Chris there, and if I had him there doing this, putting that mic in your mouth and face, and say, name one branch of government, you couldn't do it.
Wow.
I wasn't unable.
No, Chris, I know it. I know the situation.
I was able to see the whole area, though. That place was packed. I wasn't.
It was packed. Listen, Chris, it was so filled with complexity that I can't explain to people. You had to go a mile away, blocks, to really park and walk. And I was not going to
And
do
trust
that.
me, I walked a good mile just to get over there.
All right.
So
let me. It was unbelievable. But here's what I'm saying is that in reference to Beyonce, and she got up, her and I forget her sister name because I'm not into that.
Oh, that's her cousin.
Okay, cousin, what's her name?
Rowland.
Okay.
Kelly Rowland.
Okay, that's her cousin. She was phenomenal. It is what it is. See, some people just know how to put on a good party. It don't make them righteous. Some churches know how to have a real good service, but it don't make them righteous. Some people know how to dance real good, but it don't mean you dancing for God. You could be dancing for the devil. And if you become intoxicated with the power of somebody else, most people in our community get drunk on somebody else's success.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this question right here. Since most pastors now we discussing this topic, in regards to their influence or political. When it comes to the Democratic Party, do you feel that the church is also accountable for the many lives that are still on the government assistance that are struggling? And check this video out. The reason why I'm asking this question, because we know the history in regards to people being on, different social service. If you have so many kids, you get X number of dollars and things of that nature. But check this out that I found on TikTok, and it hit home when I hear and listen to people that are uneducated and not as knowledgeable. But then when I see how some of the church leaders are. Check this out.
I got to think about this thing. What happens if I lose my job?
If you're married, you must apply for welfare.
Oh, I must apply for welfare?
You must apply for welfare. Otherwise, this would constitute a misuse of ADC funds.
Which is fraud.
You understand? If the husband's unwilling or unable to make a contribution equal to what it would cost him to maintain an independent living arrangement, he must apply for welfare. Do you understand? Otherwise, this would constitute a misuse of ADC funds.
Which is fraud.
Which is misappropriation.
Which is fraud.
Right, okay, now wait a minute. Now, if I marry this lady, I want to make things better. But if I spend $1 on it, you're going to deduct it from her, right? If I want to buy a little something extra, you're going to deduct it. And I better report every penny I spend, or else I'm a crook. Okay, now you say if I lose my job, I must apply for welfare because I can't just sit around eating the government's biscuit.
Which is fraud.
That's a fraud, right? Okay, now, if I do go into welfare, then I'm just another lazy-ass nigga that's living off taxpayer. All right, now. Suppose I do not marry this lady. Now, if I move in with her and do not tell you, then we're both crooks, right? But if I do tell you, then we're back to the income and the outcome and the deducting, and you drive me to drink. And you call a fraud if I spend $7 for a bottle of whiskey. Come on, partner, let's get out.
That was a mouthful. That was
okay. So the way I didn't like the way you phrased the question, Jashim, because you said Democratic Party. Let's put it this way. Everybody's giving somebody something. Mm-hmm. It's who they're giving it to. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris said, I want to give middle-class people $50,000 for a business, $25,000 for a home, $6,000 for kids, whatever the case might be. Somebody may look at that and say, well, it's extended welfare that the government is giving people. But the Republican want to give rich folks tax cut. They don't tell you the figure because the figure is so astronomical and it's so ridiculously stupid. Because if I make $5 billion, give me tax cut, you save me $50 million, you're not going to put that in no advertisement. When they tell you they give you tax cut, understand what that really means. The number is so freaking big, we can't even say it on TV because it sounds insane. So it's not a matter of welfare. It's who's getting welfare. Let's not drink the Kool-Aid like when Republicans say, well, welfare queen. Well, I can call you a welfare corporation. I can call you, how much money all people are getting in welfare. They don't call it welfare. What do they call it again? Subsidy. Yeah, see how the word changed? Mm-hmm. When it's minority, it's welfare.
Mm-hmm. It's welfare.
when it's rich folk, and I'm not gonna say rich white folks because black folks rich too. They think individuals are the same. Don't believe the hype. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Thank you.
I love you, Kushite.
Some people rich white don't believe that. Jay-Z, he getting the same cut because he's a billionaire. The Oprah getting the same cut because yes, they may want to share their little cut with you, but they're getting the same cut. So the question
and
really
so does Harris, and so does Obama.
The question is, and some of them, to be honest, they're honest with you. They tell you, this man is fighting for me because I'm rich. I'm gonna get it. They'll tell you, I'm rich.
Yeah,
that's my
they
tax.
do. They will be straight
really
up.
Is how the narrative changes based on who they're talking about. When it's us, and it's not just black people just getting welfare. There's a whole bunch of white people living in Appalachian Mountain that are getting welfare just as well too. Don't ever get that twisted. Learn the history. But
make it clear, Max, to the people. Make it clear that the dominant culture, there are more whites on welfare.
But some people don't know that. That's
they don't know
just saying. It's a fact. What is just saying, and it just makes sense if you are the majority. You know, I was talking on Facebook. I'll give an example. If there are 3 million of y'all, 10% of y'all on welfare, that's 300,000 of y'all on welfare. If there's 1 million of us, 10 million of us on welfare, that's 100. No, what they do is they change the narrative. 15% of black people is on welfare. When you look at the number, that ain't what he said, because 15% of 1 million is 150, while 10% of 3 million is 300,000.
Thank you for explaining that.
They're not gonna say that, so they lie to you with numbers. I'm a mathematician. I know I can lie to you all day with numbers. Doesn't see what it's saying.
If that's the case, then you would agree that 14% of the population makes
so
up black people cannot elect the president.
What Baker is doing is called conditional probability. When you condition the probability on how big the minority population is, that percentage is even greater. So when they tell you, well, 60% of black people or whatever, don't believe the hype. It's only 3,600 of them. But when they say, well, it's only 1% of white that's on welfare, that's 200,000. What are you talking about?
So, Dr. Buck, we tell the people that a population that make up 14% with black people, you cannot elect a president. Now watch this. But they play into the minds of the people to make you think, yeah, your vote count, but it really doesn't.
No, that's another one about the electoral college, about the gerrymandering. That's a whole different ball game. But the fun thing about it is, the reason that they say you decide to vote is because 45% of the white population is Democrat, 46% is Republican. So it's even killed. They're gonna get. So the question is, that's why they're courting you so much, not because they like you. They're courting you so much because you're part of the voting franchise, and they really need your vote to get elected. Because 45% hate them, 46% hate them over here. So they need you in the middle, and that's why they give you all kind of wrong information, all kind of misinformation. They come to your church, they stand behind your pulpit and tell you what they're going to do for you. When they get elected, you don't see them again. And when you go to their office in D.C. to see them, they're too busy. They cannot sit with you.
They're not fair.
Black folks, I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm sorry. When I say people say, well, you're being racist, you're only talking to black people. No, I'm a black man. So when I say things, I don't know how brown people live. You know what I'm saying? I'm not part of that culture. And I did not really study the culture to know what value that they have. So I can't speak to them because I'm gonna sound ignorant. When I talk, I'm talking to my people. I'm not racist. I'm not sectarian. No, I'm talking about to what I know and who I know. When I say what I said, I'm talking to my people. My people being my Kushite brother of a darker hue. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't believe the hype. Get the information. When these folks come to our church, when I get in, I'm going to do this. Hold their feet to the fire. And if they don't do it, next time they come around, don't give them the mic. Because you lie. Call them to their and quit. Like, oh my God, you call a politician a liar. That is such a disgrace. Y'all mother suckers are liars. Y'all lie when the truth's a better answer. That's my problem. And y'all always try to distort the fact to fit your narrative. That's the issue I have. Tell folks what's really going on and let them make their mind. Quit lying to people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to my church folks. Please, when it comes to this abortion issue,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let me ask this question, man. Come on, it actually goes.
Now, I want him to finish, and then Chris, you, and then I'm gonna show this video since he brought up the abortion issue.
I'm trying to say is they come to the church and they try to get your vote. Well, I am pro-life. No, you just anti-abortion. You ain't pro-life.
So my question.
Because really, when we dying in hospitals and y'all tell the insurance company not to pay for our services, you ain't pro-life. I'm sorry. So you just anti-abortion. And you're really not anti-abortion. You're really anti-abortion when it comes to me. Because when something happens to you, y'all cheat on y'all wives and y'all got babies, y'all don't mind having them abortion. But it's only when it comes to these other folk here and y'all want to come to the church, lie to this, well, you know, the sanctity of life, this and that. Yes. We, the people of God, know about the sanctity of life. And we not just care about people when they're in their womb. We care about them. That's how we got feeding program. We have tutoring program. We have housing program to help folks because we care about folks from the tomb, from the womb to the tomb. We care about people. We are the true pro-life ones. So don't let these folks come in here and try to buffalo you into they believe something you don't. Margaret Sanger, yes, she founded, that I'm not a big fan of her or whatever, because if you read really Margaret Sanger, where she really was doing what she said she was doing. She was doing population cleansing. That's how it started. That yes, Planned Parenthood, for those of you who know the history, go read it.
Money to fight abortion is developing now out of Florida. Accused of using taxpayer money to fight abortion amendment.
The whole rally was
and you said something so powerful.
And that's where we at. We get these folks. Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
All right, let me ask a question because I'm trying to tell you how to set it up. I'm just surprised you didn't bring this up either. The whole rally that
you keep getting cut off, okay.
Chris, you're speeding up. You sound like rewinded.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it was all the time you were speeding up a little bit.
I'm over y'all, so it is what it is. The rally, the whole pretty much push was about abortion, the whole thing. What I'm saying, what I was about to try to ask is, do you believe the Democratic Party likes to leverage struggle to pretty much get a vote and actually thrive off of people struggling and support to get their narrative across? That's what I was about to try to ask.
Oh no, but it's not just well, if you're a politician, what you do is you find an issue that gets people really revved up, and you just keep pushing that button, especially if you see that folks are motivated by that. You're gonna keep pushing that button. Donald Trump, his issue is immigration. Why is he playing on white fears? And he's gonna keep pushing that because that they tell you the reason that everything is happening to you is because of them dang immigrants. I'm an immigrant. I'm well educated. You know what I mean? I mean, I got a PhD. I got a master's degree. I got a bachelor's degree, and I'm paying taxes. So your issue is not the doggone immigrant. Then they tell you, well, it's the poor folks. What I do not understand is how you are the majority poor folks in this country. I'm talking about my white brothers and sisters. And you get mad at other poor black folks because you thinking they're the reason you poor. And you're going to drink that Kool-Aid. Well, you know you don't have a job. Trump keep talking about black job. That's why they're really telling this working white people, these folks are taking your job. That's really what this immigrant coming did. It's not them taking your job, bro. That's not what it is. As a matter of fact, these folks that are working in the cornfield, these folks that are working in the oranges spot, whatever, number one, they get underpaid. They pay taxes even though they're not going to enjoy none of them taxes that they're paying for, whatever the case might be. But they always want to use this thing, whatever. And like to answer Chris' question, yes, I do believe the Democratic Party do that sometimes. Now they play on immigrants. They take them and they put them, we're going to try to give you a better life. And then whoever gives you a better life is who you really want to go vote for. They use
I never
that.
could figure out why black people stand in the welfare line while immigrants stand in the work line.
But that's what, and that's the thing that I don't understand as well too. It's don't y'all? Let me ask y'all this. Don't y'all realize how many different group of white people we have? Like some white groups were not white, but somewhere down in history they become white. Like the Irish. At one point, they hated these people, but at some point they become white. The Asian population, we put them in concentration camp. That's the history. But for some reason, a lot of them are white now. I met a black lady from Trinidad and Tobago, as black as me. Told me she was white.
And you go to your
and it wasn't a passport.
Yes.
That's what the passport said.
It's a game.
It's funny how the whiteness line moves.
It become convenient.
Anytime something needs to get done. And they don't realize that. They don't realize the okie doke. But as long as it's not black and brown immigrants, they don't see it.
And Max, the people don't understand this. That the Spanish people, whether how they got here, legal or illegal, one thing I know about them, they identify with white on their driver's license. And that's why we pander towards that group, because they become one of us in the number for the dominant culture.
Right.
People don't get this education.
Well, you got to understand, Spain at one point in history was a colonizing power. Spain.
That's true.
England, Belgium, French. The French colonized Haiti. The Spanish colonized the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Cuba,
Portugal.
Yes, Peru, all of that. So they were at one point the colonizers. So it's not by mistake that they identify as white. It's not a mistake, you know.
So Max, who's gonna win this election?
I have no idea. But the problem is, I'm looking at this. We were talking about church lining themselves up with politicians to get power. I think what we need to do, I'm going to answer your question in a minute. We need a harken back to what we were when we first got started, especially the black church. When we were concerned not just about somebody's spirit, but about their social condition. But we were concerned not just about you going to heaven, but make sure that we have a community meal where everybody can go and have some food. Right now, I see a whole bunch of us. It's I get what I can, and I'm going to sit on my can. Do you realize if every black millionaire in this country sponsor one black business, one small business?
I've been saying that for a long time.
If every single black millionaire in this country sponsor one black small business, by next year around this time, the poverty line and black people will go down by 10-15%.
Wow.
But they're not doing that. They're not doing that because it's like that uncle you have, and you go ask him for a loan, and then instead of give you the loan and actually write terms to get you, this is how you're going to pay, you're going to work to repay me. That uncle look at you and said, you sure look good there, niece. If you let me hit, I give you that money.
What do you think causes a major shift, though?
That's exactly what we're doing right now. So instead of helping, that's what people don't understand. They're not asking you for a handout. You can write the term of the help that you get, how long they have to give you the money back in it, but we're not going, we rather pimp them because it gives us this position of power, you know, blah, blah. I am sorry. We are a group of people with such a strong economic power, but we are not using it. We're allowing these folks to talk about us like we dirty dogs, and then we still get their stuff. I do not understand that. You don't talk about the Chinese people and they go and buy your stuff the next day. You don't talk about Jews and they go buy your stuff the next people. They talk about us, and the next day we're in the Louis Vuitton store buying everything Louis Vuitton.
That's true.
And
What do you
they
think?
don't like you.
What do you think caused the shift?
Huh?
What do you think caused this shift?
You know,
What do you think caused this shift?
I don't know. It's we say we don't, but in our mind, we have not been freed enough to be who we are. We say every culture tries to appropriate what we do, but when it comes to wealth, we appropriate everybody else. We want to be like them. You know what? If Chris is rocking, you know, this Prada right here, and then, oh my God, this, you know, this rich person, white person was rocking that. For me to show that I've arrived, I'm gonna have to rock it too, because we, in our mind, and it's the same thing we do with each other. The lighter you are, the better you are. You know, back in the day, black dude would not get no play if you were not light skinned. Ask, I'll be sure.
Yeah, that's
so because in our
It's
mind,
like a negative narrative.
in our mind, we still slave to this mentality that whiteness is beauty. We say
That's
we
what I'm
don't,
saying,
but
like,
we are.
black and negative.
That's just like
we
that.
Say we are.
That black doll, the black doll test that they've done twice, of my knowledge.
So that's what I'm saying. So we have not got into a place where we truly comfortable in who we are. And I'm not talking about nigga this, rap music. That not every black person listen to rap music. We need to stop that. Some black people love classical music. That's their thing. Some black people like jazz. Some black people like rap music. We need to quit making it sound like we're this monolithic group that got to do everything the same. But one thing that must remain unchanged is our identity as far as who we are as a people. We can like different things. We can like different cars. We can like different clothes. But there should never be a question of doubt about who we are as a people.
That's
our
true.
View, our
So
intellect.
should we step away from being so culturally driven?
Thank you. I'm glad somebody has said that. And then on top of that, my question is, who taught us to hate black? That should be the deep-rooted question.
It is? Well, somebody said, I don't know who said that. Somebody said, once you actually occupy somebody's mind, you don't have to worry about their actions. They're going to do exactly what you want them to do. So they taught us in slavery time to hate ourselves. And when they did that, they didn't have to keep doing it. We're doing it ourselves. Because
kept the cycle going.
That's when they taught us that, and we appropriate that mindset, that job was done. That is the whole thing. What the lynch law. That's what lynch law was about. What he did in the Caribbean, teaching black folks to hate themselves. As a matter of fact, Hitler came here and learned how he did it and brought it back to Germany and applied it to the Jews. Hitler came here.
You're talking about the Willie Lynch.
Willie Lynch. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Willie Lynch.
Yeah, you talking about Willie Lynch.
He taught the German how to actually get in the mind of Jews and treat them so to make them less than, because he did it in the Caribbean. We brought them in the U.S. to do exactly what they did in the Caribbean. Once you were taught to hate yourself, you won't pass that on to your children. They don't have to do anything else. Your mind is theirs. But that's what I'm saying. Shift. Where's that shift? And the church has a role to play in that shift, and we're not playing that role. That's why I'm crying out. That's why I'm losing my mind. Where is the church? Where is the church where we teaching
politics?
Where's the church where you're teaching young black men and young black women to be outstanding citizens? There was a time that when in church, reading was a thing. When you were the best reader, we compliment you. Now in church, we compliment who's the best dressed.
I think, honestly, in my opinion,
we got the best thing. That's why we compliment in church. You come in church right now, you got an award for. Chris got an award for writing a new script, a new Python script. Chris ain't gonna get no love. That's until Chris starts seeing some money, and then the whole thing changed. Chris ties get better. Chris donation get better. Then you gonna get shit.
I really feel like I think the church and everybody in family households need to start teaching each other to love themselves and each other. I think there's so much hate going on with ourselves, and then we hate on somebody's progression. All this hate is pretty much setting us back decades, or not even decades. It's keeping the cycle going over and over again. And it happens.
I don't mean to cut
even
us
in my
off, but that phone that you see ringing right now, that's the wife, and I think I'm needed somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Well, we gonna Max. We gotta have it if they allow.
Yeah,
well,
we'd love to have you come back.
We man, brothers.
There's some questions I had, and I like to challenge you on. And maybe, hopefully, we can have you the Friday after the election.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I love being here. I appreciate you guys.
Tonight.
You guys are doing something that's causing folks to think. I hope it is. It's causing them to pause, question the action, see what they're doing, and see how it affects them and the people around them, and hopefully make a change for the better, man. That's all you can hope for.
So you can take this. I call the election tonight. Trump is the new, president of the United States.
Well, if we were in church, we'll say, test the lie, maker. Test the lie. Love y'all, brothers. God bless you.
I love you. I can't see them little small comments. That's the host job.
Yeah, you got to comment.
You have been great. You are phenomenal. You're an educator far beyond most people I know. Thank you for taking out. I vow to you for giving me time.
Chris, Yashemi, it was a pleasure meeting you guys.
All right,
don't let Chris fool you now.
Come on, Kushite.
All right. Well, we want to thank y'all for listening and watching. You could have been any other podcast, but hey, you stopped here to listen, to learn, to grow. And that's what we're all about. This is Unscripted in the Trenches. I'm your host, the J, the A-S-S-I-E-M. And I have Baker and Chris. Hey, we see you in the next episode. Peace out, people.
Listening to In the Trenches. Real, raw, plain speak without all the political correctness. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, reach out to TS&F Consultant and Management on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So long for now from In the Trenches.